Okay, guys, day 6. We're gonna get a little crazy here. We're gonna do Grandpa. Now, Grandpa is a tricky character, and you know these characters are tricky. And you guys have been the ones that have been drawing these. You're realizing, whoa, these are not easy to draw. Why is that? Partly because of their simplicity. And, you know, you look at something like South Park and you see Simpsons, you might think, it's the same thing. And it's like, well, not really. Okay, so we're going to do Grandpa. And so I encourage you guys to, pull up, let's say you're watching on your phone this video, or if you're on your laptop, you can pull up a photo of Grandpa and also draw along. But what I want you guys to see essentially is just look for the basic shape of the head. It's like a pear shape. If you could see a pear in there. So that's how I'm going to start drawing. Or like a pineapple. And, but the same thing. He's got the 2 eyes. The eyes don't bisect the nose necessarily. The nose droops a little bit. He's got all these wrinkles on him. So this might be a little challenging, but let's get to it. Okay, so okay, what does a pear look like? Let's just start with a pear. Pear might look like that. If you were to draw a pear, and encourage all artists to draw still life, or draw a tree. Okay, so pear has the stem coming up, but Grandpa's gonna have his 4 little hairs coming up like that. And so it's good to group things together. Okay, so we have the pear shape, we have his hair shape, and all right, so we're gonna have his eye in there. And the eyes are gonna be pretty much the same as the main family. They're gonna kind of overlap in this regard. And that's only if the character is looking off 3/4. So this can technically a 3/4 pose. The characters turn around in space, and so these rules will change. Okay, so now he's got his nose that kind of comes off like this. And so what happens right in between his nose and his eye is he has it looks like another bump, but it's the rim of his glasses. So it looks like 2 bumps here. Looks kind of weird, but when you connect them, it's going to make sense. And so that rim of the glasses is going to connect to, obviously, the glasses. Big surprise. And then this bifocal, are these bifocals? Yes, they're bifocals. It's going to come over here. See, a lot of these little interesting overlapping elements. It already looks a bit complex, but hey, this is Grandpa Simpson. And sometimes his eyes will be wide open, but now I'm gonna show you guys the half-lidded thing, or the 3/4 lidded. Meaning, well, they have lids just like we do, and they come off of the sphere and they wrap around, right? So let's have Grandpa looking at us. He can be wall-eyed too, but this is how you make things a little bit more personal. And usually they're never looking at us in the show, right? So if you're drawing something for someone and you want to make it personal, where you're going to make the eyes looking at you. Okay, so a few more trickier parts. Okay, so he's got his muzzle, just like Homer. We can just rough it out first. We're gonna rough it out. He looks like Mr. T right here with the mohawk, but so just look at that. The simplicity of getting an expression in there with this upper part of the muzzle, and then it comes into a line here. And so that's the basic shape right there. Oh, he looks so sweet and endearing here. He's that way when he's not so cranky. Okay, So now we're just going to tighten up. So there's one bump here and then one bump here. 1, 2. So again, pause the video, sketch, sketch what you see. Don't try to figure it all out at once. Like I said, these characters they took a while to get. Okay, now this side, it's going to come down. And we're going to have a series of bumps here. We're going to have 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like Marge's hair up in here. And then the little smile line. Like he had to have 3 bumps there. Like any more, well, we get fired. I'm kidding when I say that, but we would have to, redo it. That's why we had these model sheets, right? Everyone had to draw the same thing, essentially. And everyone had their own little quirky little styles, and you could tell, oh, so-and-so drew those, or so-and-so drew those. It was really fun. Okay, so he's got this bottom lip, and then the bottom chin element. So that takes care of his muzzle. You can see it all fits inside of the pear shape. And just because you draw a rough outline, in this case the pear shape, doesn't mean you have to go stick with it, right? You can see here I kind of went inwards a little bit. Don't worry about it. It's just an initial guideline. Okay, so now with the glasses, we have the side of the glasses that come to the side. And then we have his ear, which is going to be a very different ear and a more realistic ear. And well, why does he have this ear? He's an older character. And when you get older, your nose and your ears grow. They just keep growing. So that's why these characters, the older characters, have larger ears and noses. So within here, we have a shape like this. And then coming off of the ear and then connecting to the muzzle, we're going to have his neck. And it's going to be another, like 3 large bumps. 1, 2, 3. And that's all of his, his skin up against his collar. Grandpa's, he's 80 something, he's up there and he's seen some stuff. Okay. Now on the side of the head, it kind of does one subtle bump and then another subtle bump. So we have 2 bumps here. They're like smooth transitions. Okay, so above the eyelid, we're going to have 3 lines. We're going to have one that essentially indicates the upper part of the eye. You notice I don't need to connect that entire line, but it's okay if you do. But so we got 1, 2, 3. These are his wrinkles. And then same thing over here, just like all the other characters have a bump here. See that bump here correlates to this here. And then we got 1, 2, and then I think there's another one in there, yeah. Just give him a few bumps there. It's all them wrinkles. Okay, and then one larger bump that kind of goes to the top of the head, like so. And he's got 4 spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, he's almost done. Get a little indications of reflection lines. That's what these are. So that's why I'm putting 2 lines on each bifocal. That just indicates that this is a transparent object, glass, and we're looking through it. That's how we drew glass, by drawing these lines across a transparent shape. On the side of his eye, he's got 2 wrinkles here. There's a linear wrinkle here, and then he's got 2 bumps. They just really tried to make him look as old and wrinkly as possible. So I know this is a tricky character. This is a long video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And before we finish, I'm going to put a collar on him. And, you know, this is just the heads, right? We had to work with the bodies, and then we had to work with light boxes, essentially, with light shining from behind the drawings to be able to see the other drawings. Imagine Grandpa interacting with Homer. We didn't draw them on the same paper. We had different pieces of paper. That's why we had the light. It was a very complex process. That's why it took 6 months to make one episode. So, don't worry if you're not getting it the first go. He's got his Texas tie. So it's like a circle here and then 2 little lines coming off. Oh man, yeah. So there's Grandpa Simpson. Hopefully you guys had a good time watching this. You might need to watch it again or just kind of pause as you go. And yeah, looking forward to seeing your guys' drawings in the group.